The evil driftwood tank must be completed.
We must be complete.
Do you remember when I found that weird evil driftwood on eBay? And I found something so cool. I bought it. This is amazing, and I need it. I can't not get this. And then it proceeded to haunt my dreams and my house. It was waiting for me in particular. I barely remember it now. I made a tank for it. It needed a home. It needed a tribute. So I made one. As I was making it, it's almost like my hands weren't even my own. Then after a while, we moved to a new house, and I moved the tank with us, which displeased the driftwood. I see it in my dreams, shifting and scraping and watching me. I try to run, but it's like I'm moving in slow motion. When I'm awake, I still feel its gaze on me, almost like it's in the room, but just barely out of sight. Like a fleeting glance where you could swear you can see movement, but when you focus your eyes, nothing's there. It's a heavy, oppressive, and horrible feeling. I disturbed it. I have to make it right. I spent a lot of time making sure that I chose the right plants. I hope it likes what I chose. Now I need plants, but not too many plants. Enough plants to look like vegetation that's thinning as it gets nearer and nearer to this evil monument. The plants also have to be just a little bit unsettling. Let's see which plants are on my offering cutting board. We are starting with Bucephalandra Skeleton King. Let's be honest, I chose this because the name was creepy and fitting. I love how pronounced this ridging is on the leaves, and that's probably why it's called Skeleton King. Next, I have some Velvet Bucephalandra, which I like the leaf structure, how it's very long and pointy, and velvet is the most evil of all fabrics. HC Cuba is probably an odd choice for this project because it's such a happy little plant with a spring in its step. My plan was to have it around the edges of the scape, like as if the vegetation couldn't quite grow towards the evil driftwood. But unfortunately, I think the aura of the evil driftwood has already destroyed this HC Cuba. Pogostemon Halferi is a plant that makes me uncomfortable because of the way it's shaped, so it's another perfect plant to pepper around here. Ludwigia arcuata. This is a nice, delicate little stem plant, but it looks like this is more resilient than the very cute, very peppy HC Cuba. So I have a problem. My HC Cuba is definitely dead, and I need a little foreground plant. And the only thing I can think of doing is sacrificing one of my other planted tanks and stealing the foreground plant. It must be sacrificed. I'm going to blur the identity of this tank that I am pillaging to steal its foreground plants. That is one handsome looking background plant. Wow. I wasn't thinking I was going to have plants so close to the evil driftwood, but if there was one plant with malice in its heart, that would be at the forefront of the evil driftwood's plant army. This would be it. I wish I had about 10 more of those, but they're like really expensive. It's kind of like this variety of Bucephalandra can just barely tolerate the presence of the evil driftwood, so it's hanging around in some nooks and crannies. My anxiety level rises with the water. This is looking so great. With the light on the front, we get this dark, spooky cave, and I'm so hopeful about this. And then, if I put the light on the back, dun dun dun, it's even more spooky. Man, that's so cool. I have one more plant to add. It's not exactly an aquatic plant. This is a monstera, which is going to go in this corner over here. I'm very close to being done. Now I have to finish setting up the tank. I have to get my equipment in, and I have to get my residents of the tank in before I can finally be free. This is my filter. It's a fluval canister filter that is rated for a 10 to 30 gallon tank. It comes pretty much assembled. That's kind of nice. The instructions are really straightforward. It comes with all the media. I'm not gonna be using most of these. I got myself some prettier looking pipe. I thought that the evil driftwood would really appreciate some care put into the aesthetic. This canister filter is actually meant to be used with this ribbed hosing, and I'm gonna try to switch it around a little bit. There's already a bunch of sponges, which makes a great medium for bacteria, right? But I'm just gonna add more. More. I'm gonna fill this up with water. And then I'm going to seed it with Florinbacter. This is the bacterial starter that I always use. I'm just gonna let it sit and soak in for a little bit while I do the rest of the work. My media is marinating in the bacteria, and I have a pot of boiling water and a cat who better get away. I'm gonna soften up my pipe. Because it was hot, it was easy to slip over, and it'll cool down and basically be really hard to remove. Again, just dip your hose. Hot! There's two different main ways you can inject CO2. You can use a very nice diffuser, but I feel like having this piece of equipment in this tank would detract a little bit. I'm using an invisible way to inject CO2. This is put in your canister filter line, and you can hook up your CO2 here. So that way it's going straight into the water, it's circulating around in your canister filter, and you don't see the bubbles. I used a really similar one for my Hobbit tank, and it worked really nicely. I have it all set up now. I have my pipes going down to my filter, I have my little CO2 injector, I have my CO2, my precious. I put a lot of thought into what the inhabitants of this tank would be. They had to be unsettling. They had to make me a little uncomfortable, or maybe very uncomfortable. I knew that those two things would make the perfect residence. Are you ready? Oh, look! I have in my hand 6 glass cats. They are a really creepy see-through skeleton fish, and I thought they would make really good minions for my evil driftwood. See, it's not very common where I get a fish that is not a betta fish. Not very common at all. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a creature to live in this tank who is more upsetting than what's in this box. Tiny little crabs that look like spiders. These Thai micro crabs will make the evil driftwood delighted. Tonight, I add the inhabitants for the evil driftwood to subjugate. I think I'll start with these creepy little crabs. I'm gonna play it safe. I think I'll drip acclimate them for a little while before I actually add them to the tank. They're not joking by calling them Thai micro crabs. They're tiny. The scuttling appeases the wood within. The ghost catfish burst forth like the devil's cavalry. I really like how this tank turned out. I'm not sure if you can tell from this, but the driftwood has been slowly leaching its evilness into the water around it. It's getting a little murky, a little full of tannins. I like the asymmetrical cave opening there and how it's dark inside. It's kind of hard to see, but the ghost catfish are hiding in there. That's fine. They can relax, they can chill out in there, they can take their sweet time getting used to the tank. I know it can't be easy. Oh no, this is the one fish that can sense the evilness of the tank and doesn't want to go in. I am loving my crabs. Like, they're so cute and weird and tiny. Most of them have dispersed throughout the tank. I just hope that these ghost catfish don't decide that they're a really, really tasty little snack. I'll say the ghost catfish are slightly larger than I thought they were going to be, and then the crabs are slightly smaller than I thought they were going to be. Those two things added together might mean that I just bought my ghost catfish a really, really expensive feeder crustacean. I guess we'll find out. It may sound silly, but I'm really loving my canister filter. This thing is quiet. You know, I really love that and value that in filters. It is practically silent. Oh, it's so nice. I do really like these stainless steel pipes. My tank's been cycling for a little while now. I daily dose with a bacterial culture and a bacteria food to get all my bacteria going. I'll continue to do this for a few weeks. I really hope it didn't notice that. Oh, I hope it didn't notice that. Oh no.